viewers, this is VASISTA Gayatri Academy. I am Dr. VENUGOPAL. In this video, a very interesting topic that is about introvert and extrovert. Generally, in our life, we will be coming across a number of people. All people will be not of the same type. They will be of different types. Some people will be introverts, some people will be extroverts. Who is introvert and who is extrovert? Let's have a clear-cut idea about it. An extrovert will be an open person, whereas an introvert will be a closed man. An extrovert will be quite understandable to us, whereas an introvert cannot be understood. An extrovert is a very clear idea in his mind. An introvert will have a clumsy idea in his mind. An extrovert is a very simple character. We can understand him very clearly, whereas an introvert is a complex character, too complex to understand. So, to put it in a nutshell, an extrovert is a very clear-cut character, an understandable one, whereas an introvert is a closed person, not understood to all other people. Now, you have an idea, or you can entertain one doubt. Who is better between these two, whether an extrovert or an introvert? We can come to the conclusion at the end of the discussion. And first, let us find out who is an extrovert and who is an introvert, and where we can find this introvert character or extrovert character. First, let us take an example. Illustration from a student. A student generally is expected of an extrovert nature, attitude, because in the learning process, he is to be an open man. He is to express his feelings openly, because an extrovert will be always, he will be expressing his feelings, thoughts, emotions openly to his fellow being, parents, friends, teachers, and so on. An extrovert, being an extrovert, a student can understand the subject by interaction and rapport with the students as well as teachers. Without having this interaction report, he cannot understand the subject thoroughly, because in the teaching learning process, the learning will come only by two aspects. That's number one. He has to learn from the teacher to some extent, and by self-study to some extent, and by participating in the group discussion to some extent. Even mere by teaching by the teacher, he can't learn completely. So he is expected of an extrovert character. But most of the people, among the students, we find introverts. They cannot open their heart. They can't have an outlet for their emotions or feelings or suspicions or any doubts, because of which they will be forfeiting so many things in their life, quite lagging behind in their education too. Particularly in group discussion, the group discussion has gained its momentum nowadays. In almost all professions, in almost all professional admissions, this group discussion has gained its momentum. In the group discussion, a student is expected of exhibiting his talent, his interaction, his rapport, his expression, particularly his way of dealing with the things, his thoughts, whether he has a fire in the belly or not. All these things will be tested in the group discussion. If he is an extrovert, he can find an outlet. He can express very freely, openly. He can entertain doubts, and he can get the doubts clarified from the students and co-students and teachers. Whereas an introvert is quite opposite to that. He feels he always keeps his thoughts and emotions and feelings in his mind, and he won't express at all. Thereby, he will be losing so many things in their life, particularly in acquiring knowledge. You take, for instance, another instance, employee. Employee also, same is the case with in our work life too. In work life also, some people will have a free outlet. Suppose that they can't understand anything in their profession, they will be seeking the help of the colleagues. I can't understand this. You please help me. Please tell me how to pick up, how to get on in this work. I can't understand this problem. I can't understand this. I can't reach this target. Please try to help me. He will be asking openly and seek the help of his friends, and thereby he will get on in his profession. Whereas an introvert cannot. He feels hesitant. He hesitates to ask, seek the help of the colleagues, and thereby he will be sometimes a great failure. And that failure will also lead to a depression. See, even at student stage, we have observed number of people, number of students who are introverts, and when they are unable to cope up well in their education, particularly in science and engineering, luckily they will be getting some seats in IIT in different places in India. After obtaining a seat, actually, when they have stepped into that IIT institution, they will face the music. Sometimes they could not understand the subject. We have observed a number of examples, a number of cases. After having joined IIT or NIT, they faced the music, unable to understand the subject, unable to cope up in their studies, and unable to ask the help of the co-students or help of the teachers. They feel inferior. See, the introvert character will have the inferiority complex. Because of that, they hesitate to ask, they hesitate to interact and have develop a good rapport with the co-students and also teachers. And finally, in the examinations, a great failure in the beginning examinations in IIT and NIT, and many every year we have observed minimum 5 to 10 students across the country have been committing suicides, having written a suicide note that nobody is responsible for my death. I myself, because I could not understand, I could not cope up. Why all this happened? Just because of this introvert nature, introvert attitude of the student. That should not be cultivated. And that leads not only there itself in the student career life, even in our professional career. Once they enter the professional career, that kind of mentality, that kind of attitude will be developed continuously, constantly throughout their career, and in the actual profession, they will become a great failure. Whereas an extrovert will be always successful, though the extrovert cannot be successful in his profession. He could not reach the target. He seeks the help of the colleagues, and at least he will be going and directly he will be having a contact with the boss, head of the organization. Sir, this is my situation. This is my problem, sir. Kindly help me how to cope up. So he will find a solution at least, that extrovert, whereas the introvert cannot. And if we take another instance of a married life, even in selection of a life partner, the extrovert will be always successful. He will express his love and love to his lover, would be a life partner, and he can select a very good life partner. Whereas an introvert cannot express. Suppose he falls in love with one girl, or that girl falls in love with one man. That person, being an introvert, cannot express, always conceals, always suppress, hides in his mind and heart, suffers a lot, cannot express openly, and time will go on and go on. Time and tide will not wait for anybody else. and that life partner that will seek some other person gradually in the course of time. So he or she will be losing that life partner also. That means he will be or she will be a great failure in selection of a life partner because she can't express openly, being an introvert, whereas an extrovert will be, he will have or she will have a good outlet, and he will be uh, always successful in every genre of life. To put it in a nutshell, why? What are the reasons for this introvert character and extrovert character? We can study briefly. The reasons, I believe, in my observation of a 30 years work life in educational institution, the reasons generally are these: hereditary to some extent, and environment to some extent. Number three is their lack of good education, good counseling. These are the major three reasons for developing, cultivating this kind of introvert nature or extrovert nature. Though the person has that hereditary influence on that man, yet he can cope up if he is provided with very good counseling, if he has a very good education by teachers, by his studies, because the essence of education is missing, quite conspicuously missing nowadays. The only reason is rigmarole of learning, education, studies. Rigmarole means just learning by heart and writing in the examination. And if we actually ask what is this concept, what you have studied about Shakespeare, what you have studied about John Keats, what is the essence, central idea of his poems, what is the philosophy of Shakespeare? What is the life philosophy? You tell me, what is your life of philosophy? Your philosophy of life? You tell me. Suppose we ask, after having obtained a graduation degree or a post graduation degree, most of the students are failure because rigmarole of knowledge. That means learning by heart and omitting in the examination and getting the a degree, some degree or the other. So good learning, good counseling must be there. And he must have a very good soul and bedrock, the forte for this cultivation of good temperament or attitude is he must develop a very beautiful interaction and rapport with fellow being, teachers, students, friends, parents, and all others. So it is only, in conclusion, I would like to say that it is only beautiful interaction and rapport with all our fellow beings will influence our attitude, introvert attitude or extrovert attitude. So the introvert nature, introvert character is very, very detrimental to himself, very, very detrimental to other family members, and very, very detrimental to the entire society, to put it in a nutshell. Because at the time of selection of course, after his completion of intermediate or so, whether to select a chartered accountant, whether to select MSc, or whether to select engineering, he will be at confusion. At that time, influenced by his friends or relatives, he wants to select engineering. Whether he is really talented or not, he doesn't think of it. Sometimes the parents will have a lot of influence on the mind of the students. The student unable to express openly to his parents, he will accept. Okay, you just suppose the parents say, okay, you join this course. This is better because our friends and our relatives have joined this course. You join this one. Immediately, that person, though he doesn't have the taste, he doesn't have the aptitude, real aptitude towards that subject, he will be joining. And afterwards, he will be a great failure he suffers a lot. Same is the case with in married life also. A partner, a person, a woman, generally in our country, till these days, particularly in rural areas, the parents say, yes, you marry this man. He is a very good person. You can select this man. She will say she doesn't have any liking for that man. But the parents say, no, no, he is a very good gentleman. He has property, lot of gold, good money. You marry this man, your life will be happy. She will accept, though she has some other liking in her mind. She doesn't like this fellow. She accepts and marry. After marriage, the real taste, the reality, the real mind, the open heart will burst out. They'll emerge, and there will be a lot of incompatibility between these two life partners. So this is more important stage in our life. After having clash of this incompatibility with partner, there will be separations, there will be divorce, a lot of unhappy things, miserable life. So introvert nature, introvert attitude is most detrimental to the person, to the parents, to friends, and the entire society. So let's develop extrovert nature, which is always auspicious. This is about extrovert and introvert characters in brief. Thank you for watching. Nice meeting.